And now something completely different.
Good afternoon. I'm speaking to you live just outside
Los Angeles!
I like to think balding is just God's way of saying, now let's see you get laid.
Is it true that if you don't use it, you lose it?
What I'd really like to do is put the greatness of this man in perspective.
The hair loss community has a lot to be thankful for, having you as a spokesperson.
You mean you just call this guy up?
About life and about reality.
And now, America's #1 reality radio show for men. Live from Los Angeles, it's Spencer Kobren's The Bald Truth.
Hey guys, welcome to the program. Sorry that I started a couple minutes late. Phone number 888-659-3727. 888-659-3727. Live from Los Angeles. I'm Spencer Kobren. Coast to coast, worldwide on the internet. And this is the Hair Loss Show. Sounds a little anticlimactic. Let me start to record this. Sorry guys, I just forgot to record the opening. But listen, 2/3 of you by the age of 35 as guys will suffer with some degree of hair loss. 40% of hair loss sufferers are women. I mean, this is a silent epidemic of biblical proportions that affects just about every household. And you know what? The reason I've been on the air for 14 years is because 200,000 of you wake up every day, every morning, realizing they're losing their hair. You're losing your hair. I mean, what the F? It's devastating for most people. And I was one of those guys who was so devastated by their hair loss and dealing with hair loss at a young age that I did everything in my power to try to stop, prevent, and treat my hair loss. And the truth of the matter is, I was lucky enough to find FDA-approved medication early on. I was lucky enough to make the right decisions when I was doing my research. But listen, it's not easy out there. Let me tell you. Most of you will be ripped off at least once. I was initially. And sadly, so many people, tomorrow morning, as a matter of fact, are going to be disfigured by less than ethical, less than skilled, less than scrupulous hair transplant surgeons. I'm sweating here. It's devastating. Absolutely devastating what's happening to so many hair loss sufferers out there each and every day because they don't have the tools. They're not equipped with the information to make informed decisions. That's I can't speak tonight. That's what this broadcast is all about. That's what this show is all about. Now, if you're new to the broadcast and you're looking at a guy for the first time, looking at me for the first time, and you see this guy with a head of hair, the truth is this is a partial sham. I have been lucky enough to save the vast majority of my hair using FDA-approved medication, but there's a little bit of a comb over involved, a little head makeup, a lot of hairspray. 46 years old, and I started to lose my hair at about 20, 21. So I feel extremely fortunate. But once you cross that line, once you become a hair loss sufferer, no matter what, even if you can effectively treat your hair loss, there's no going back. You're never the same. So if you're not emotionally equipped to deal with hair loss, if you're not emotionally equipped like I was and to deal with just shaving your head and moving on, this is a safe place for you. Phone number 888-659-3727. That's 888-659-3727. Again, this is a program where you guys can call in, ask your questions. I'm the founder of the American Hair Loss Association, author of The Bald Truth and the Truth About Women's Hair Loss. I am also the founder of the International Alliance of Hair Restoration Surgeons. And again, we've been doing this broadcast every week, every Sunday for the past 14 years. I mean, we actually started on Saturday nights on WABC Radio in New York. And then we were moved to Thursday nights and moved to WEBD, 10:50 a.m. in New York. And from that time slot, we went national, and we never looked back. So feel free to give us a call, 888-659-3727, live from Los Angeles. Let's take a phone call. This is, he's been holding on for a while, so it's probably Joe. Let's see who this is. Hey, you're on the air. Who's this?
As you know, Spencer, I had a most horrifying night on Friday. I tuned into the Andrews Zarian, the guys from Queens Free For All, and I was absolutely horrified to see his sidekick, Coco Butter, perpetrate a crime upon himself. He shaved his hair off and made himself a hair loss sufferer all over some bitch. All I have to say is how sad, how very sad. This poor boy definitely needs help.
My name is
Joe from Staten Island.
My name is excuse me. My name is
Would you like to reiterate it?
my name is
Have you heard it? Excuse me.
my name is
Joe from Staten Island.
Joe, we love you here, man, but I have to disagree with you because I don't believe that Coco is a hair loss sufferer. You're only a hair loss sufferer if dealing with hair loss or having to shave your head makes you suffer. That's not something that makes Coco suffer. He's fine with it. He's comfortable with it. In some cases, he prefers it. So if he can walk around with a shaved head because he chooses to walk around with a shaved head, then he is in a much better position than any of us.
But people would give their lives to cure his disease, and this man perpetrated it upon himself. You know how horrified I was that I broke down on the air. You remember the show.
I do. I do remember the show. We actually have some sound clips of you breaking down. I don't have them. I didn't put them on my 360, but I know Andrew has them. And it was interesting. I don't know why you were so upset. I mean, this guy, it has nothing to do with you. He chose to shave his head. He actually looks pretty good with a shaved head, in my opinion.
No, but what upset me was I know as hair loss sufferers, we give our lives to have some hair. And this man has beautiful hair, and he just decapitated himself, which to me indicates the man has definite psychiatric issues, man. I hate to say it.
Well, I think that's probably a matter of opinion, Joe. We all have definite psychiatric issues.
Yes, I also have some. I'm the first to say that.
Yeah, I don't think we'd be here. I don't think I'd be doing what I do if there wasn't some, issue as far as my inability to deal with my hair loss. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that you have to have a severe psychiatric issue to feel, like you're losing control when you start to deal with hair loss. The fear of not being as desirable as you once were, getting the reactions in life and being treated the way you once did when you had a full head of hair, feeling less attractive in your own skin, in social, environments, dealing with women, things of that nature. That's very real. You don't have to be mentally ill or to have a psychiatric condition not to be able to deal with that but I definitely think that it caused me some mental illness, meaning that I definitely suffered from some deep depression. I was in some pretty dark places, especially at the beginning of my hair loss. It was devastating to me.
I understand that. I have some bad news for you, Spencer. I may go topic. I have no feed on you when you're breaking up on the phone.
You have no what? Feed on me?
I have no picture on you when you're breaking up on the phone.
What? You have no picture on what? On what? The Bald Truth?
No picture. And people are saying, yeah, I'm on the Bald Truth Watch Live, and I have a GFQ network and no picture.
Well, click over to another feed like Justin TV or Ustream on the upper right where it says GFQ network. And on the right side, it says Stickcam, Justin TV, Ustream, or audio. Click on Justin TV or Ustream, see what you get.
I click that on.
All right. You should get another feed. I'm actually watching it on Stickcam right now, but I mean, there is some trouble. When I first came on the air, there was no feed coming from Stickcam through this player. So I don't know if there's some sort of an issue that, now
I have no feed on Justin. All right, now I have you on Justin TV. I see your handsome face now.
All right. You see the back of my head, actually, but thank you. Here's my face. So go ahead, Joe.
No, what I'm saying, it's just I don't mean to. I'm not trying to criticize Coco, but it just really horrified me that someone would perpetrate that upon themselves.
Well, look, it is what it is. I think he looks pretty good, to tell you the truth, and I don't think he's perpetrated anything. I think he's very comfortable like that, and you got to give him his props.
Well, I just think he really should seek some help. I really have to say that.
All right.
I'm at a physician or a psychiatrist, as you know, but it really just freaked me out, the whole thing.
Okay. So what else?
I apologize to Andrew for breaking down the show, but I couldn't help it.
So what else? What else is going on, man?
Yes. Now, and now I'm also reading the for the first time. I want to compliment you and your engineers. I'm also reading the feed of people commenting.
Well, good. I'm glad you're able to check it out. You can join the feed. You can just click on menu if you want, and you can change your nickname. You can go in there as Bald Joe or whatever you want to go in as. I go in as Bald Spence usually.
When you click on menu, type something in. That's how it works. Submit it.
Click on menu. You can change your nickname, and then once your nickname is changed, you can type anything in, or you can just type something in right now without even changing.
Can people find out my email address?
No one's going to find out your email address. This is completely private.
Now I have some breaking news. Some not really breaking news, but some news for our audience.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm gonna have to castigate some people on the message forums who are declaring Falk dead, that Falk is out of business. These people have absolutely no information what's going on. No one knows what's going on except the people in Falk. So guys, cut the nonsense out, because I'm starting to get goddamn irritated with you bunch of psychos, man.
Yeah, well, that's just the way that it is. That's the way that site is. And, it's the way every site is, actually. I mean, there's so much speculation online about every hair loss treatment that's coming down the pike. And the truth is, most people don't know anything. They only know as much as what's being presented by these companies. And it's all just speculation. That's it. When the day comes, if Follicle comes out and says, you know what, they're no longer pursuing this, that's the day when that happens. But that hasn't happened yet.
No, but it just really irritates me with these guys. Give me shot. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You're really breaking up very badly on the phone. Now,
maybe since you're on a computer, you get some Skype. You can Skype me next time, and it's going to be completely clear. I still haven't gotten my phone line fixed, so there's a lot of equipment in here, a lot of bandwidth being used, so it's possible that we're going to have a lot of problems with the phone tonight.
Yeah, I understand that. The other piece of news I just wanted to give out was that we definitely haven't had information from Aderan or Replicel by the spring. That's the bottom line. Or Allergan is going to have something very soon. We'll know where we stand within the next 3 to 6 months. That's a fact that I could announce with all my, I stake my reputation on that. I can't say what it's going to be because I have no idea.
Your reputation on the air, or your reputation on the message forums?
My reputation as
just your professional reputation
as one of your crew.
Okay.
The Bold Truth for 14 years.
All right.
I can't say what works, what doesn't work, because I have no information on that, like so-called experts on the other sites do. Well, I've now infiltrated the Bold Truth, as you know.
I do know that, and I'm sorry that you're having problems on the phone, Joe. But we'll try to figure it out. I had no time this week to do anything. I was actually working on the physical look of the studio and some other stuff that I needed to do, and I could not get the phone lines in. So maybe by next week.
Well, that's fine. I could definitely make you out.
Well, what you can do is when we're off the air, give me your number again, and I will call you directly. Usually when I call out, the phone line is much clearer.
Now you sound much clearer, as a matter of fact.
It happens. Who knows? Who knows what's happening?
Now you're perfectly clear now.
All right, good.
Now, one more quick piece of information I wanted to give you, your viewers and listeners is, once Allergan completes his phase 2, which is going to be like maybe 6 months, my understanding is that physicians will start compounding their own topical bimodic frost, like they did with minoxidil years ago before it was actually approved as Rogaine, as you know. Do you agree with that scenario?
Yes, I do.
You do?
Yes.
Yeah, I do think it'll be pretty expensive. How well it works, I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know, it's interesting. I was contacted by a company. I'm not going to name the company. Who is there was something we wrote an article or blog post on the Bald Truth about this company years ago about a big lawsuit that happened, and there's a big news piece about it, and it happened to write a blog about it, and apparently this comes up very high under the company's name when when someone searches the company. Now, the company has since changed hands after all of that craziness went down with this particular company years ago. And it was a huge company, big hair loss product. And they are really trying to get this information taken down from the internet. Now, I'm a very fair person, extremely fair person. But what this company is doing, and I'm still unclear about this, and maybe someone from the FDA can actually contact me through the show and let me know your thoughts on this. They're selling a product that has minoxidil in it. They have their own minoxidil preparation that is prepared, manufactured in an FDA-approved facility. And they are claiming now that they're allowed to say that their product, at least this portion of their product, is FDA-approved. Now, let me ask you guys a question. What are your thoughts on something like this? Say it's a company that I'm not going to name the company that sells a minoxidil topical preparation with a bunch of herbs. Would you feel comfortable thinking that this isn't the way that they're marketing the product, that this product is an FDA-approved product, even though only one component of their product is FDA-approved? Do you know what I'm talking about, Joe?
No. They're trying to mislead people. It's obvious.
Now, when I take a look at their website, you know, they do kind of make one part of their product, which is their minoxidil product. They put that in bold, saying that particular portion of their product is FDA approved. But to me, if I was a layman, and I guess I am a layman because I'm not a physician, but as a consumer, I would look at the site and just see FDA approved and think that everything that they're selling, including their shampoos and their herbal preparations, was all FDA approved. And the reason I'm not mentioning the product's name is I just out of respect for the person that's been in contact with me. But I'm just trying to get a grasp, you know, I'm uncomfortable with it. And I am still not sure of the legality of them making claims that even though they're selling minoxidil, that their product is FDA approved. So if someone is listening who is, involved with the FDA or any other agencies that, help in the approval process, or if you work for a company that sells an FDA-approved product, give me a call. Let me know what your thoughts are on the situation. I know I'm being cryptic, but I thought I would put that out there. Joe, I'm going to take a phone call. Is that cool? Is that all right with you?
Yes.
Okay, hold on. Hey, you're on the air. Who's this?
Hey, Spencer.
Oh, my God. George, how are you, man?
I'm getting over the crud, man. Let me mute out the computer here. Hey, I'm really digging this new studio look of yours. Things are looking cool. And
I appreciate it, man.
I'm actually right now just was in the middle of registering a nickname, my nickname George here on your little registration thing, because I've never participated in the chat, and I wanted to try to get in on that.
Now, which chat are you in? Are you you're on my site, on the IRC chat, which was just actually Suncast just put this whole thing together. GFQ guys put this thing together for us. Or are you on the Stickham chat?
This thing, what you were saying about the phones, man, the phones are breaking up so bad. It's like you're so staccato, I'm having great difficulty making out what you're saying. Should I call another number?
No, you call this number. What I'll do is I'm going to take a break. You hold on, and I'm going to get your numbers and call you guys back, because usually when I call out, it's not as bad. And hopefully we can resolve the issue. So
what did you ask me to do? Because I can't understand what you're saying.
I'm going to ask you to hold on, and I'll get your number, and I'll call you back.
Oh, you're going to call me back?
Yeah, so just stay on hold. All right, guys?
Okay.
Both you and Joe. Guys, I'm going to take a quick break so we can get this thing working, and then hopefully we could, these guys can hear me. We can have a conversation. I know we got calls coming in on the line, so just bear with me. Phone number is 888-659-3727. 888-659-3727. I'm Spencer Kobren. You're listening and watching The Bald Truth. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
It's okay to feel good about you.
He's an international best-selling author, a contributing editor for Consumer Digest magazine, and the host of the longest-running reality radio show for men. I'd say he's the man.
The truth shall set you free!
It's Spencer Kobren's The Bald Truth.
All right, guys, welcome back. Sorry about that. 888-659-3727 is the phone number. That's 888-659-3727. Joe, I said, give me your number, I'll call you back. And he just hangs up. I don't have your number here, dude. So if you're watching the show, call back. You're going to have to hear it in staccato until the next break. 888-659-3727. Let's see if we can get pot up George. George.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me, man?
Awesome. Yes, perfectly clearly.
All right, great.
If you could quickly tell me how to finish this registration I'm in the middle of. I clicked on registering a nickname, and it popped up a little dialogue box. Put in my email address, password, and then there's some dialogue box underneath it was empty. This is register nickname. I clicked on it. Do
yourself a favor. Just go to thebaldtruth.com and click on Watch Live. It's a lot easier. Go into the IRC chat. You'll see there's no major registration process.
Well, that's what I did. I'm on Bald Truth Live. I clicked on Watch Live, and it's got you up. And when I tried, there's a box under there where all the chat is, and then there's a thing that says menu. And you put the pointer on that.
Yeah, just don't even have to. You don't have to register a nickname right now. Just just click change nickname. Put in your nickname, and you can go right into the chat.
Where does change nickname? I think about the menu.
On top, just press menu. The menu pops up. It says change nickname, register nickname, options, leave channel.
Okay, I changed nickname. So what do I put in there?
Whatever you want.
Is that what okay.
How about Bald George?
Bald George.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
There you go. Type away.
That'll work. Oh, shit, man, Bald George. God, that's a Mobile George.
I'm Bald Spence, all right? Here, I'm going to go in
okay, all right. Well, if it's good enough for you, it's good enough for me.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry I've been, out of action for a while. I skipping over the second case of the crud that I've had in 2 months, and, man, I've never been sick this close together in any season, in any cold season or whatever. I think it's stress. I've been around a lot of sick people. The city has been teeming with pathogens. And last week or so, I had a buddy in from out of town who was retired 3 years ago, retired school teacher. He'd flown back in from Arizona, from Sun City West. I've been hanging out with him, and every night we've been out doing something. So
it's like when you do something, but you're not really hanging. You're not partying or anything. You don't drink. You're not sitting there smoking joints or anything, lowering your immune system.
Well, I went to a Ruth's Chris Steakhouse and had a Chrissy. That's their fancy ice cream drink,
Yeah.
That's got frangelica in there, and of course it's really unhealthy because it's like a friggin' ice cream sundae. Ice cream float.
And you had one of those.
I had one, and I had them put some chocolate in, which kind of fucked it up. So but I thought I wanted to get a chocolate.
I tell you,
so I had that, and I had a piece of their chocolate.
You're a risk taker, dude.
I had a piece of their chocolate, flourless chocolate torch sin cake. With raspberry puree on there. So that was like an indulgence. So
that is sinful, man.
Oh! And another night we went to a Japanese hibachi steakhouse, and I had a glass of plum wine, first glass of alcohol I've had in so long I can't. Well, actually, I had a glass of plum wine, and then 3 weeks before, some friends came in from the Keys, a lady I worked with for 20 years, the government, and we went to Bonefish Grill, and I had a glass of some kind of stuff called pale ale. It was some stuff from
that's not bad.
Scotland, Ireland. I think it's called Newcastle, I think was the name of it.
What would you say if I told you I stopped drinking?
I would say fantastic, but did you actually do that?
No, I'm just curious what you would say.
I would just say great for you, man. Just I'm
not going to quit drinking. I like drinking. I'm not going to quit drinking just to live a few years longer. I'm not.
Who is this GFQ7352 George, the bullshit artist?
Who knows? You know what? Don't take anything personally. You are kind of a quasi-celebrity, so people are going to bust on you. That's it. Deal with it.
And somebody, Scottish boy is frowning on Newcastle in England. Well, dude, I'm Scot-Irish like you, my friend. I don't like the English any more than you do, so frown away. Scottish boy, George is the man. Misspelled my name. Who is Scottish boy anyway?
Who knows?
Somebody I know?
He's actually a guy. He's a guy that's been in the chat for GFQ for a while. He seems like a really nice guy. So, listen, people are going to bust your balls. You're calling in, you're telling the story of your life. You're telling people you're sick. You talk about this, that, and the other. People are going to criticize you. They're going to pick on you. That's just the way that it is.
It just makes me feel like I'm back in high school, It's kind of funny.
Dude, this is high school with money.
I grew up the fat kid with moon pie face and glasses. I was always big for my age, and then I got eaten up by kids twice my age and in school twice my size for years. And then one day I got enough of that shit, and when I was 15, I got martial arts, lost the weight, and started lifting weights and worked out and got big and strong and learned martial arts, and nobody fucked with me anymore. But I was always the academic geek, top of class, but yet I was tortured for so many years. Like everybody else, you go through shit as a kid, and that stuff hangs with you. It's been 32 years ago, and it's still very fresh, like it was yesterday.
Of course, it sticks with
you. And so it's really hard to shake that shit, because when I get names called at me, it makes me kind of revert to that thing when I was in elementary and junior high, and I had to fight every day.
Well, you know what? And I think that's something. I'm glad you admitted that, because that does stick with you, man. It's kind of like these shows, these kind of lower end talk shows. Like I remember Jenny Jones and these shows like that, where all of a sudden the girl that was picked on in high school comes back and she's a stripper. And she wants to show the world how hot she is. And then they basically...
Did you see that episode on 2.5 Men? It was one like that?
No, I didn't see that one.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. And I'm so distracted. I'm looking at my feed, seeing what the quality looks like. I'm trying to do all kinds of things. But, it's actually... It ends up just being more pathetic when you see these people, because they're not just coming out to say, look, I'm much better looking now. I'm more attractive. They have to flaunt it in such just a strange, uncomfortable, inappropriate way. And then when their so-called, bullies come on, the bullies don't even remember it. And that's a sad thing, that they've affected these people's lives to that, but they were kids,
It's funny you mentioned that, because the first class reunion I had in 1995, it was actually the one in 1990 was a 10-year, then there was a 95 was a 15-year. I remember seeing one classmate, and unfortunately, he was one of those popular guys in the class. He became the first guy to die at age 42. This was back 2004.
Yikes.
He died in his sleep at 42, had a 2-year-old child, that nobody ever figured out. Apparently his autopsy was inconclusive. But I remember going a few years earlier to the 15th reunion and 95 and seeing that guy and talking about, some of all the shit that was done to me. And he's kind of like, I really don't remember that stuff. And I'm thinking, to me, it was like the apocalypse, and this guy didn't even remember.
He doesn't remember it because he doesn't give a shit. It's something that he did as a stupid kid. It didn't affect his life. But believe me, I'm sure there's a couple of guys out there that are like whittling voodoo dolls of me because of something I may have said to them in high school. And I was a nice guy. I was a very sensitive guy. But
the whole high school thing is so fucking weird.
Dude, there's a girl that apparently I really affected her life in the 8th grade, and I remember her. And this was a beautiful girl. Something happened. She was kind of like my girlfriend, but something happened that made me not want to speak to her. I forgot what it was, and I don't even remember, to tell you the truth. And I decided not to invite her to my bar mitzvah. And back then, that was like a tragedy for someone, not being invited to someone's bar mitzvah. And apparently, she went to school. She ended up going to a better school, and she went on with her life. Years later, I saw her in a bar with her husband, and her husband says, "Oh, so you're Spencer?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And they go on to tell me this whole story, how I somehow affected this girl's life to a degree where she had to leave school, go to another school. She ended up having some sort of a weight issue, for a while that I wasn't aware of, all based on her low self-esteem because I did whatever I did to her. I decided to stop talking to her. And you know what? I was like 12 years old. And I didn't mean to affect her in this way, but I forgot exactly what happened. And I wasn't even mean to her. It was I just kind of like stopped talking to her. And it affected, and I feel horrible about that. Because again, I was very sensitive. I was a good kid. I was not the type to bully anybody. This was a beautiful girl. And I don't know if I was afraid to have sex with her and I stopped talking. I don't know. It was some stupid kid thing, And that was it.
Yeah, it's really sad how we carry these scars
and
forever.
Apparently I turned her into a bulimic. I'm exaggerating, but because of that experience. So I get it. I mean, and believe me, I feel bad about that. And again, I didn't really do anything in my mind, but it certainly affected her.
Yeah, it'll do that. And, like I told you, it was very, very strange for me when that first guy died, and I went to the funeral. I haven't seen those people in a quarter of a century. And then I remember, you're talking about people going back and flaunting stuff. Well, I was just showing up, to pay my respects at a friend's wake, and then a couple of the girls in the class who had taunted me mercilessly for many years. But I was a valedictorian of the class. I caught a lot of shit for being like the academic geeky guy.
Right.
And then I got into martial arts, and I turned from the fat geek guy to the karate, to the academic geek guy to the karate geek guy. There's always somebody trying to fuck with you about something. And these girls I hadn't seen from a quarter of a century walked off. They were like, "Why aren't you aging like the rest of us?" And they walked off from like 10 feet away, thinking I couldn't hear them. I guess their hearing was going.
Yeah.
And they started whispering that I'd had a facelift.
Yeah, you told me that.
And I'm like, what the fuck is going on with these people? And one of those girls, I ran into her at a local seafood restaurant, my favorite hangout, and the bitch had the balls to actually say to me in front of her ex-sister-in-law, "Oh, when we were in high school, I invited him to our junior-senior banquet thing, and he turned me down." Well, that was all bullshit. She made all that shit up. Well,
maybe she did. You didn't. Maybe you didn't realize it. You were so, insecure and so scared. I saw a girl at my 25th. Is it 25th? Was it 25th? Yeah, my 25th high school reunion. I can't believe how old I am. And she was actually a year below us, but she was friends with this girl, from in my class. So she decided to show up. Showed up, beautiful girl. I mean, beautiful girl. And apparently, I think when she was younger, she was heavier. But she asked me, she's like, you were so aloof and uninterested in high school, and she actually thought that I was like being a snob. I was just so shy that I couldn't talk to women, I mean, unless they really took the time to talk to me, and then I got comfortable and I would hang out with them. And obviously, I had girlfriends and stuff, but I wasn't the type of guy just to go up to the most beautiful girl and start to talk to her. I had to have every signal coming in my way. But in her mind, I was a snob and I was aloof. So maybe you got the same thing happening.
Maybe so, probably so, because like when a kid is tortured for many years, they create this image in their mind is created themselves, and suddenly it's like the anorectic girl. She may have been fat at one time, and then all of a sudden she loses all that weight and she's skinny, and all of a sudden she looks in the mirror, she still sees a fat girl.
Dude, I'm bald on the inside.
Yeah.
I'm bald on the inside.
Yep. That's, and I transformed myself, but yet it's like when I got into modeling, I still saw the ugly fat kid, and had no confidence, and then really, just didn't. I don't know. The whole thing was very strange, and it has to get back to the hair loss thing, because if we don't, Joe's going to get back on there. He's going to give us a lot of shit for it.
Let's go.
But it's funny how that segues into hair loss. You go through all that bullshit as a kid growing up with fat, and you get rid of your baby fat and you get rid of your zits. Mike Jordan. Who the fuck is Mike Jordan? Damn modeling again. Ha ha. These people really love to bust balls, don't they?
You see, but you're letting it get to you. You're almost 50 years old, and you're letting these kids get to you.
Are these children?
Some of them are children. Some of them are adults. But you're on a radio show, dude. People. The point is, they're chatting about the show. They're chatting about you. If they think you mention modeling too much, You know, whatever it is, that's their thing. You know?
Well, it's just, you know, we were talking about life experiences that shaped us into where we are now. You know, about what, you know, what brought us around to where things are at this point. And it's funny because we go through we lose the baby fat, then we go through the zit thing. You know, we get more scars from that. And I had a problem with the zits when I went through the you know, the hormonal thing. I mean, it really, really drove me crazy. Thank God it didn't leave a bunch of scars, at least physical scars, you know. And then we go through all that bullshit, and then we grow up, and then we have to. Well, thank you, Brian Monroe, for having a nice voice. We go through all that bullshit. We grow up, and then this hair loss thing comes along, and it's like a. It's like a flashback to all the bullshit that we've gone through all our lives, and suddenly we're back there again, and we're having to go through that trauma all over again as an adult. And it kind of, not only does it create fresh new horror, but it sort of dredges up and regurgitates and recapitulates all the previous horror. And I don't know, man. I mean, it's just, every time we come on the show, it's like, hey, the cure is right around the corner. I know, yeah, these guys are saying I sound like the same shit I'm always saying. Yeah, because it's like the horror continues. I mean, they're busting my balls telling me I need new material, but it's like Joe, you know, my friend Joe from Staten Island, you know, he's kind of like the same theme.
Look, the bottom line is the cure is not just around the corner. We know that, but it's getting closer. And it's not even about a cure. What this show is about is not necessarily just talking about the cure and getting the cure and hoping for the cure. It's about learning how to deal with it with what we have right now. You know? Hold on. I'm reading what Andrew said. If you say so, Ella, just kidding. Your audio was like a little low on the stream. It's okay. Thanks, Andrew. I don't know what's going on. There's so many things going on here. People are chatting with me. You're talking to me. I'm like, is my audio really low? Anyway.
Well, I went and got a haircut recently, and I asked my stylist, who's been, you know, actually been cutting me since I was in my early 20s. And he was the one that kept telling me, you know, you'll never lose your hair. Your hair is so thick, you'll never lose your hair. And every time I go in now, I make him take, before he starts in on the hair, I make him take a really good look at it, because he only sees me once every few weeks. And I say, hey, do you see any difference? Is it look the same, better, worse, what? And he always says some bullshit to me. And it looks like it's actually growing in some. And I mean, I know it's bullshit. I know he's telling me that just because he knows I'm suffering from this shit, and that he knows I'm obsessed with it. And we're all fucking obsessed with it. We're all looking every day trying to see if by some miracle the Propecia is actually, the ProScar is actually suddenly making us get new growth after being on the shit for years. You know, come on. But he tells me that, oh, I think it's actually getting thicker. I don't know what's going on. It looks like it's getting thicker. I'm thinking, can't you lie better?
You know, but you know what? There are people that, and in his mind, he may see it getting thicker. Maybe you're having a better hair day. Maybe you used the right shampoo that day. Maybe there was still a little extra, you know, some Kobren stuck in there or some Topic stuck in there. Who knows? Maybe he's being sincere.
No, I always shower thoroughly before I go in. I never go in with the Kobren or the Topic in, because when I have the Kobren and Topic in, it looks completely full and thick, you know. But damn, you know, he did tell me. He said, how long have you been losing this shit? And I said, well, I didn't discover it until 29, you know, just after I got back from New York. But it had been thinning for several years by then. I had to be honest with myself. I mean, it started thinning right after college, and I was like 23 or 24. You know, the damn stuff started thinning there, and I didn't really recognize it. It was so thick at that time, and I didn't really recognize it. Because, you know, when it first started thinning, I still had complete coverage. It just wasn't as dense as it had been. You know, of course, I still have complete coverage. It's just the density's gotten, you know, thinner and thinner and thinner. But
well, listen, let me ask you this. You know, we talk about this all the time. Yeah, you've been calling the program for years. Are you seeing anybody? Are you trying to see anybody? Are you trying to get? Are you working on trying to get past what's going on in your head as far as your hair is concerned, and letting somebody in on your secret?
Are you talking about seeing women or seeing a shrink?
Oh, well, both actually. No, but women. You know, I mean, before it's too late, before you can't have sex anymore, before something breaks, before whatever. You know, life is so short, man.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm working on a lot of different things in my life right now. On many different things.
But that's the thing. Don't take this the wrong way.
Things are in a massive. No, I'm not. Things are in a massive transition phase for me right now.
No, but what I'm about to say, don't you know? I hear people say they're working on things all the time, but you know what? We don't have time to work on things. Every day when you're living your life, you have to kind of work towards tomorrow, but live for today. And that's it. There's not going to be a better time for you to go out and get laid than there is right now. That's how I feel about it. Maybe it's just me. I don't know.
Well, I understand where you're coming from. I don't know. I mean, I went, through a succession of women over the years, and I don't know. Whenever I had sex in really kind of uncommitted sort of situations, I didn't. Does George like girls? Yeah, I like girls. What the hell is this? Jeez.
You know what it is, George? They like whatever they say. You get they see that it gets a rise out of you. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, well, it's really sad when people always have to do this bullshit when I kind of questioning your orientation. Probably because I mentioned the modeling thing, and so many of you guys in there are gay. Whenever I went through relationships with, and casual relationships with sex involved, I always ended up, A, feeling like it wasn't really in line with my morality, and B, sort of freaking out every time I had sex with some girl that it wasn't a committed relationship and I hadn't been with her a long time. I was always freaking out over the disease thing.
But let me ask you a question. Besides AIDS or hepatitis C, what's the worst thing that could happen to you if you did get some sort of a disease? Honestly, is your head going to blow off? What is the worst thing that is going to happen in your life if you don't get something that's really life-threatening? And I'm not saying that's a great thing to go out there and get yourself an STD, but if it did happen, is it going to destroy your life?
What worries me about it is I still have not given up on the possibility of finding the right woman and wanting to get married. I think I'm at this point.
Do you think at the age of 49 or 50 that if you found the right woman and you had an STD that wasn't Hep C, even Hep C, that wasn't HIV, and nowadays even HIV in some cases, but it wasn't going to threaten their life, that they were somehow going to say, you know what, you're a pariah. There's no way I'm going to get involved with you. That's not the way life works, especially as an adult. Especially as an adult. Falling for somebody, finding someone to share your life with is so difficult. Someone you really enjoy.
Yeah, it is difficult.
They're not going to check you off. They're not going to check you off if you walk into the relationship with a chlamydia or controlled herpes.
The strange thing is I've had friends with HIV and AIDS, and I did not discriminate against them. But for some reason or another, I get this feeling like if I had some incurable STD, that would make me damaged goods and less desirable. All of us already feel, most of us feel less desirable because of all the shit we've been through and the hair loss and all that other crap.
And I guess that makes sense to some degree, but it's holding you back in life. So wouldn't it be better to be damaged goods, as you put it, than not to be on the market at all? To wait till you're 70 years old, until you're in a home, and maybe you're going to end up holding hands with some old grandma? Go out there and screw. Go out there and enjoy your life while you can still do it. While you still have a body that looks good and you still have a functioning brain, and while you're not wearing a diaper. Enjoy your life, dude. I don't want you to call me in a year, and I don't want to give you the same goddamn lecture. Sorry.
Point taken.
It affects me. It affects me.
No. Point taken. And I am working on you say now you can't work on it, but I've had a lot of things I've had to try to get straightened out that are like so in my face right now that it's, you know, sometimes things happen in your life and you feel like you got to deal with these things before you can even do anything else. You know, some issues, you know, which I've alluded to in the past. But anyway, back to the hair thing. Where I haven't been on the air with you guys in several weeks. I take it there have all these things hanging up in the air, all these neogenesis things, all these incredible breakthroughs, blah, blah, blah. After hearing what Joe said, I take it that none of that shit has come to any kind of fruition at this point. There's no clinical trials which are bringing in the report, and the reports are coming in from yet. I mean, what's going on? Is there anything?
You know the way you know how I look at it, George,
and the Aderans and all this other shit. What?
Unlike the rest of the hair loss community, the guys that are on our forum and other forums, I look at it as no news is good news. No news is good news. As long as they're not saying we quit, we're still in a good position. I got nothing for you. I got nothing for you. Tonight is a broadcast about, you know, guys can call in, ladies can call in, talk about their concerns about hair loss, how they're dealing with hair loss. The fact, you know, I mean, you're a prime example of someone who is may not be as affected as Joe from Staten Island or some other guys, but who are so affected that you really put the brakes on life because of it.
Well, with me, it wasn't just the hair loss. It was a lot of different things. You know, the hair loss is just one of the worst ones, but it's just with me, it's a lot of other things. You know, that things I really choose not to talk about on the air. You know, there's a lot of other issues that come into the mix.
Dude, I have so many issues. It's not even funny. I have so many issues that I grew up with. You can't even imagine.
The other issues are things that you know, if when the hair loss when the hair cure for hair loss comes, and I see you go into a more, as we discussed in the past, a broader men's issues format where you can help guys with a lot of just men's issues in general. I kind of see you going in a direction one day. I hope you don't just leave the friggin' air.
I'm out of here, dude. I'm retired. I'm out of here. I'm going to be an ultra tanned prune. I'm going to be sitting out by the pool doing nothing.
Like George Hamilton with the tan, huh? Sitting out by the pool.
Just sitting out by the pool, doing nothing, getting drunk and getting BJs. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I've done enough. I've helped you sons of bitches enough.
You have done a lot. That's definitely is the case. But anyway, at one point, when the things get to that point, I may talk about some of the other broader issues, which I don't want to get into because we're in a hair loss program. But what?
See, now you got everybody all curious. I'm curious now.
Well, you know, like Joe says, this is the hair loss show. Like tonight, I got into a discussion with Marcus about nutrition, and he said, and George's like, "What is this? The fucking Food Network?"
Yeah. Well, you know. Sometimes that's all we got. You know, I got to keep this thing running for 2 hours. Sometimes I got nothing.
Yeah, and it's funny. You got to keep it running for 2 hours a week, and we come in and there's no new fucking breakthroughs. Every week it's the same shit. You know, there's no new breakthroughs.
No, there's no new breakthroughs. But there's plenty of guys that are going to find the program tonight that are going to learn a lot, and they're going to be saved because of something that you might say, or something that Joe says, or something that we're talking about from another caller, and they're going to, you know, have the opportunity to find our resources. So even if there's no new breakthroughs, there's, you know, what we're providing.
There is support.
Is support and hope.
Support, you know, and that's why we come here, for support and hope. But I will tell you this about my hair situation. When I went in the last time to the guy, he said, "When did you start losing this?" I said, "In my early 20s." Or he's like, "How long have you been losing it now?" I said, "Close to 30 years." Close to 30 years I've been losing my hair. He said, "Look," he said, "I'll tell you something." He said, "You've been doing something right." He said, "Because I cannot believe," he said, "I've never seen anyone who's been losing their hair for 30 years who still has as much hair as you have."
Yeah, listen, and that's the truth. I've been losing it for 20. Let's see, I was 21 when I noticed it. So what is that? 25 years. 25 years.
It's been around, I guess, between 25 and 30 for me. I guess I was in my early 20s when I first saw it starting to thin. So when it actually started, probably started someplace between 22 and 24, and in March I'll be 50. So I'm like, shit. He said, I can't. He said, dude, he said, you have really held on to this stuff. I said, well, at least I have a substrate to put the friggin' makeup on, right? You know, something to hold the makeup.
Right.
I can still dummy it up to where it looks like a full head of hair. So, but you know, it's getting so thin in certain places up front now that if some kind of cure does not come soon, I will end up having to have some kind of transplant done to the front just to maintain the hairline, so that there's something to which I can attach the makeup. And I'm not really looking forward to that. Even though my hair density is so thick on sides and the back, you know, that the areas on top that are thinning, I could have it completely filled in with a hair transplant, and wouldn't even, my donor area wouldn't even look depleted.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm asking myself, shit, should I just go ahead and pay for the fucking surgery and quit worrying about this bullshit, because this 2 to 5 year thing just keeps fucking dragging out for decades, man.
Dude, someone just suggested that you should. Someone just said, George, just get a rug.
Yeah. No, I'm never going to do the rug thing. You know, I would do a transplant. I would either do a cure that will make the hair grow back, or I'll do a transplant. I'm not doing a fucking rug. I would shave my head first. I just would. I'm sorry.
Well, there you go.
I just don't see myself doing the rug.
On that note, I'm going to take a break, George. 888-659-3727. That's 888-659-3727. Joe, I know you're holding on, so I will take your call. And guys, feel free to call in. We are having problems with the phone lines, but we are working them out. We're doing the best that we can. 888-659-3727. I'm Spencer Kobren. You are listening to, there's so many things going on here, and watching The Bald Truth. We'll be right back after these messages. Stay with us.
Coast to coast and worldwide.
You know, I just want to say, you know, you guys are doing a great thing. It's such an uncomfortable topic to talk about, especially for a guy, you know, young guys in their early 20s. And, I'm glad that, I could tune in and, listen to you guys.
Spencer Kobren's The Bald Truth.
Hey, guys. Sorry about that. 888-659-3727. That's 888-659-3727. Had a little issue, but don't need to discuss that here. This is the Hair Loss Show, self-help radio for guys, and of course for girls who get it. Sadly, 2/3 of you by the age of 35 will suffer with some degree of hair loss. 40% of hair loss sufferers are women. This is a silent epidemic of biblical proportions, and this is your show. This is the Hair Loss Show, and it sounds insane, especially if you don't, if it's the first time you're tuning in. But you're probably dealing with hair loss, or you will deal with hair loss, or you know someone who's dealing with hair loss, or your father's dealing with hair loss, or your mother's dealing with hair loss, your brothers are dealing with hair loss. And you know what? You're all thinking the same stuff. You're buying the nonsense that you're seeing on television and that you're reading about on the internet. None of that's true. Everyone, for the most part, in this industry is trying to sell you some bullshit. We're not here to sell you any products or services. We are here to provide you with a safe place to get completely objective information about anything and everything hair loss. That's what we do. And I've been doing this for 14 years. Sadly, when I speak to guys like George or Joe from Staten Island, you realize how little has changed as far as our treatments in the last 14 years. Because when I started this, Propecia had just been approved by the FDA for male pattern baldness. It was a breakthrough of incredible proportions. Before finasteride, before Propecia was approved for hair loss, all we had was Rogaine or minoxidil. And I have to tell you that while the treatment was proven to grow hair, it's still a treatment that is, marginally effective at best. Whereas for finasteride, if used early on, as early intervention, as early in the hair loss process as possible, a large percentage of guys get positive results, with a very small percentage of guys suffering from any of the adverse side effects that are really being put out there online on every message forum like I've never seen before. In the 14 years I have been in this field, I have never seen so many people talking about the adverse side effects, fearing the adverse side effects, claiming that they are suffering with the adverse side effects of this drug. You have to understand, I've been doing this for a long time. And I've been on the message forums, the original old school message forums, the alt.baldspots and the Usenet groups or the user groups. This wasn't happening. There's some interesting phenomenon that is going on right now in the online world. And I think there's a faction, and again, this may sound like a conspiracy theory, a faction of people out there, a faction of guys who may have suffered some unknown, very rare adverse sexual side effect from this drug that have really infiltrated the entire internet. And sadly, while I think they have the right to do what they're doing, sadly, there's a lot of guys out there who will not be helped by this extremely successful hair loss drug. And what I mean by successful, it's a drug that works for most people who use it. It's a drug that I've been on for 17 years without any known adverse side effects. I don't know what's going on in my body. I don't know if I'm going to be the guy that gets breast cancer in 10 years. I don't know if I'm going to be the guy that suffers some other unknown long-term side effect from the drug. But as it stands right now, I've had no sexual issues that I'm aware of, unless I get a little too loaded, which happens. But really, you know, and I don't know anyone in my personal life who has. And the reason I am talking about this is just it's overwhelming. The amount of emails that we are getting every day, and they're getting more and more. It's happening. Our email boxes are filled with guys who have been on the drug for like 10 years, and now they want to stop taking it because of this fear of long-term side effects or fear of permanent impotence, because they read about it on these message forums and they read about it on these Propecia help type sites. I believe it happens. I believe it's happened to a handful of guys who have taken really control of all the online message forums. Anytime someone asks about the drug, some of these guys come out and they put it out there that this is pure poison for you. You know what? No drug. It's better in life if you don't have to take any pharmaceutical, any types of drugs, even aspirin. You're better off not taking any drugs on a regular basis. But we have to take drugs for a lot of things in life, unfortunately. And this is a lifestyle drug. If you cannot deal with your hair loss, if it's something that you want to stop, if it's something that you know you're not equipped to deal with if you let it progress, finasteride or Propecia and Proscar are really your best hope. So you need to take your head out of the sand and realize that if you plan on doing anything about your hair loss, as a guy, the most effective treatment available today is a 5-alpha reductase inhibitor. And the only approved medication, the only approved 5-alpha reductase inhibitor, this lisped, for hair loss is Propecia. So if you're out there trying to rub some, herbal lotion or potion on your head, if you're out there, hoping against hope that some new technique, some new technology is going to save you, pretty unlikely. You want to be able to keep as much hair as you can right now. So when these new treatments come out, you're going to be in good shape. Now, I'm not telling you to go out there and take Propecia. I'm not telling you to go out there and make a choice that you wouldn't normally make based on my recommendation. But what I am telling you is that in my experience, as someone who's been in this industry for 14 years, this is a relatively new phenomenon that is growing exponentially. And it's not because more people are using the drug. Less people are using the drug now because of what's going on online. I believe it's just because of panic. And again, it's not to say that to the people that this has happened to, it's not to say that it's not real. But it's very, very, very rare. 888-659-3727. Joe, is that you?
Spencer.
Yes.
I thought you forgot me, man.
I didn't forget you, man. I told you I would call you, and you didn't give me your number.
No, I thought that your staff was going to call me back. That's what I thought your engineer wanted me to do.
Let me put this out there. I am the engineer. I am the staff of this broadcast. I run everything. I got pulleys and wires and different computers and lights, and it's actually insane.
Well, I apologize for that.
It's okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you much better. I apologize for that, Spencer.
Oh, listen, you don't have to apologize to me, dude.
Now, I want to tell you, I'm quite flattered and fascinated by this phenomenon of a chat room. I never realized that was so popular.
Well, I told you were, and you see how people mention you on the message forum. I mean, you're a well-known dude.
I don't believe it, man. It's quite laborious trying to type all this information in people want from you. It's very laborious.
Well, you should have your kid in there. You should just dictate to your kid.
Well, I asked my wife to dictate to her what she said. I can't repeat on the air. I don't want to trigger an FCC investigation.
Okay. You don't have to worry about the FCC. I'm on the internet.
Right. I agree with you about Propecia. I mean, I didn't personally find it effective, and a lot of people I know don't find it effective, but I don't believe it has any side effects. I think they're
No. That's not true. There are side effects, Joe. There's a percentage of people that do suffer from adverse side effects. In clinical trials, they did show adverse side effects. So there are people who suffer with these side effects, and it may be greater. It's possible it's greater than what Merck is putting out there as far as what their clinical trials have shown. But I got to tell you, man, in my personal experience, not just with my use of the drug, but I'm talking about for all the people that have contacted me, for all the, thousands and thousands and thousands, and honestly, millions of people who have picked up my books, and the thousands who have contacted me over the years just based on the book. Forget about the show or forget about the message forum. Guys that have picked up the book when, the internet was in its infancy, and when I was the first person to write about this drug in a consumer volume. And so many guys thanked me. No one was writing me saying, you know what, man, I did suffer from the side effects, or I stopped using the drug and I'm having persistent side effects. It just didn't happen. And then as I got more involved online, it just wasn't happening. Every friend that I have that has been on Propecia for a number of years, and now almost every one of my contemporaries is taking it, has had no issue. My friend's brother, younger brother, who's like 30 now, has been on it for 10 years. He's had 3 kids on the drug. Never even thought about it. He's not the type of guy that goes online and researches. So he's fine. And I'm not saying that it's 100% psychosomatic. I just believe, I know myself, that if I would have been presented with this information when I first started Propecia, it's possible that I would have had sexual side effects. That's how powerful my mind is. And I know, I have OCD. There's so many guys out there like me and worse. Do you know that there's a guy by the name of Christopher Webb who is the editor of and I use this term loosely, this word loosely, a magazine called the National Hair Journal. This is a magazine that is an industry magazine where basically he writes about, he's been around the same amount of time as I've been. I think he started when I started. Writes about what's happening in the industry, sponsored by, all the big players like the Hair Club, and at the time for many years, Medical Hair Restoration and other companies in the industry. And he writes about what he believes is the happenings in the industry. Well, he wrote an editorial not too long ago letting the industry know that he has decided to stop using Propecia after like a decade on it because of all the recent information. And I think, at least according to this one physician, based on the last article in Men's Health about post-finasteride syndrome. Now, this is an old guy. He's not going to like that I said that. He's an older guy who maybe he's suffering. I don't know if he's suffering from any sexual side effects or not, or any sexual dysfunction or not, but he obviously wasn't for many years. So if he is now and he's blaming Propecia, I think that's interesting. But if he's not suffering at all and he's stopping based on articles written about a survey, not even what I would consider or any expert would consider a real clinical study, but a survey. But the fact that he's writing about this, it really shows the power of what's going on out there and how many people are being affected by it. Now, for the Propecia Help guys, that's good news. You're doing your jobs and you're doing it well. And I got to give them their props. This is a very small group of people. It's a website that has about 2,000 members, and they've created such a buzz. I got to tip my hat to them, man. I really do. Because what they're doing is getting their agenda out there in a very, very effective way. Unfortunately, for every guy that they may be saving who may have suffered from these adverse side effects, there are probably thousands who would have benefited from the drug, whose lives would have been changed, who may ended up getting married to someone that they would have never felt confident enough to marry, or taken that job or gone on that job interview because they had more confidence. Changed other people's lives because of the confidence that this drug or being able to save their hair may have given them. That's being taken away. And on what I believe is based on a lot of hearsay, a lot of, some real it's really lacking. This agenda is really lacking in clinical data as far as I'm concerned. I'm going to get a lot of hate mail for this, but I have to be honest, Joe. I don't make any money from Merck. They're not advertisers of this broadcast. I don't pimp their product. I just believe it's our best bet. And I think that people are doing themselves a great disservice by not, at the very least, seriously researching this drug and giving it a try. And again, for anyone who gives it a try based on my recommendation, don't do that. Just know that I believe in the product and it's changed my life. It's changed the lives of so many people. And this new phenomenon, sadly, it's really changing the world of hair loss because so many more guys are not going to be able to be helped now. And that's it. I'm going to get off my soapbox.
Well, I personally took it for 4 years.
Look, I've been on it for 17 years. Anyway, let's take another phone call, Gerard. I'm going to put you on hold.
Well,
yeah.
All right,
What?
No, I was just going to say that, I personally took it for 4 years. I had no side effects. Didn't do a damn thing for my hair, but, I had no side effects.
But it may have helped your hair if you took it, in 1978 if it existed.
No, I don't believe it would have, because I was taking estrogen pills, spirulactone. Didn't do a damn thing.
Yeah, but
my hair kept going up.
Yeah, but you weren't really dealing with the root cause. No pun intended. Back then they were trying to work on playing with testosterone levels as opposed to actually going for the enzyme that converts testosterone to DHT. When they found out that was the culprit, at least the main culprit of male pattern baldness. There's other issues that I believe that are involved. And I think it really depends on the person. There are guys that their hair loss is more dependent on DHT as far as their genes are concerned, and they really do well on the drug. I believe that I've been one of them over the years. And then there are guys who may get something positive from treatment, but it doesn't last for a long time because their genes are just so powerful for this disease. But we do know that a lot of people are helped. And I was talking to a doctor this week about it, and he's like, look, I'm spending 20 minutes during a consultation, and this is a hair transplant doctor, 20 minutes with every guy that walks in because they're so shit scared to take this drug now. And he's trying to explain to them that it's in their best interest if they're going to consider having surgery, going through the entire process, spending the money. It's in their best interest to try to stop the progression of their hair loss. It's not in the doctor's best interest to tell this guy that, because it's better for the doctor for him to continue to lose his hair so that he can go in and have more surgeries. It's in the patient's best interest, in my view. 888-659-3727.
You're breaking up, man. You're breaking up, Spencer. I'm sorry to interject with that.
We'll take a call. Hey, you're on the air. Who's this?
Good afternoon, Spencer.
Johnny, how are you, man?
Good. Joe, my hair loss brother from another mother. It's good to see you in the chat room. I told you before that you had many followers and friends, and that we appreciate all of your research, and you are a hero in this medium.
He is. I have him on hold because I'm having problems with the phones. But he heard you, and he's in the chat room right now.
Yeah, he is. He's been chatting. I've been chatting away with him.
Chatting away. So which chat room? You guys are on the chat room on my side, on the IRC chat room.
No, we're in
GFQ.
GFQ.
Okay. Well,
we now have
the same chat room on the Bald Truth, so it is universal through all GFQ shows now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
So how's things going with your dad, Spencer? No one's asked tonight.
Oh, I appreciate that. I mean, they are what they are. They're maybe getting him home on Friday. I don't know how long that's going to last. I hope that he does well in the house, but it doesn't sound like he's going to, just based on his, his attitude and, just the way that he is. So,
is he coming up to live by you, or?
No, well, he's going to go back to, to his apartment in New York. Right now he's in I guess it's like a nursing facility. It's kind of more of a rehab than a nursing facility. And he's getting some physical strength back, but, I don't know if he's going to be able to handle it, even though he's taking care of 24 hours a day. I know that I'm going to get the call that he's either back in the hospital or whatever. He's just emotionally, I don't think he's equipped to deal with it, even though he wants to go home. So eventually we're going to have to try to get him out here. This week he's been very resistant to the idea.
Well, I think I speak for all of us out here when I say that you're in our hopes and you're in our prayers, and you and your father. And
I appreciate that, man. I really appreciate that.
I'm looking in the chat room, and there's a lot of pessimism as far as a breakthrough for hair loss. I mean, 2 to 5 years has gone into 1 decade and another decade and so on. But I'm optimistic with Replicel. In some of the other companies out there. I think that, will they cure hair loss completely? No, but I think they're going to make great strides in, enhancing what you have or what you don't have.
I agree with you. And I tell people that all the time. But listen, there's always going to be naysayers. There's always going to be negative Nellies. There's always going to be people who are embittered because they've been around for a long time, some of the older guys, and, either finasteride hasn't worked for them, or perhaps they went through a bad hair transplant. And I understand all that. I prefer to keep a positive attitude. I prefer to look at the glass half full, because so many years in my life, I looked at it as half empty. And you know what? Those were wasted years. That's why I get on George's case, to live his life, to move on, to do something for himself and not just sit there and wait, because life is ticking away, man. It's ticking away. Today is what? It's almost the end of January. 11 more months, it's going to be 2013. You know how fast 11 months is going to go by?
Right.
I just leased a new car. I turned in my car and just leased another car. I'm thinking, when this lease is up, I'm going to be 50 effing years old. That's how I'm thinking. And I'm like,
but you know what, though?
I know how fast this last lease came and went. Go ahead.
But it's, no matter what, it's, getting older is just part of life. It beats the
alternative.
Things on the other side.
Right.
The alternative, right?
No, I'm cool with getting older. The point is, you got to live your life while you still have it. There's no waiting. Right. There's no. You know what? I'm going to get to it later. I'm going to, when everything is straight, I'm going to take care of it.
I'd like to go to Vegas with George and just, have him go wild, though. I really would.
I think George is on. George, I think you brought it up.
Have George just go to Vegas and just go wild.
I want to get George laid. I want to give him herpes or get him herpes.
Oh, my
I can't
God.
give it to him.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I just want him to, I'm just kidding, George. I just want him to live his life and not be in fear of things that, you know, you can't control every aspect of your life, dude. You can go outside tomorrow and all of a sudden you're feeling good. You know, you could be feeling, I'm going to ask some girl out, you know, whatever it is, you know, you finally prepared and bingo, you're hit by a car. That's it. Game over. Goodbye, Charlie.
You know, it'd be great. We take him out and get him all, you know, shit faced, and he goes to bed with some hot Latin chick, and he wakes up with a Russian chick.
That's right.
You know,
it's nice to know that you guys have my best interest at heart. That I was reviewing what these guys were busting my balls about in the chat room, and the sad thing is, I have to agree with them. This guy, whoever he is, 7352, is busting my balls so much about, you know, same old shit. You need to get some new material, same old crap. The guy's right, man. I'm sick of listening to myself. Really, no shit. I mean, I'm sick of the same bullshit. I mean, and if I'm sick of it, I know other people must be sick of it. So, you know, as much as cruel as the guy is, he's right.
But that's the beauty of the internet. You know, people just kind of speak what's on their mind. What's on their mind is on their tongue. And in some cases, it's great. There's a lot of disrespect out there on the internet. But what's great about this chat room is I don't think anybody's out there trying to harm you, George, or trying to necessarily insult you. They're just talking about the guy that's on the show. And you're putting yourself out there. You just got to have a thick skin. You know, you don't think they're talking about, you know, somewhere, maybe not in my chat. You don't think somewhere on the internet there's a conversation happening about me right now about the paint on my head or whatever? It's all. That's the thing about social media and the internet. Whether you like it or not, at least in my world, because I'm out there. But in any business, whatever it is, the conversation is happening, and it's likely that it's happening about you to some degree, and you have no control over it. So you got to get involved, man, and just deal with it. And you got to have
Joe
a thick
made a
skin.
good point in the chat room about these different companies. If they can just come up with unlimited donor hair, that's a major breakthrough.
Oh, that's the cure, basically. That would be unbelievable. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, and then it's just the artistic talents of the doctor, and they're out there. So, I mean, Joe made a real good point, though. I have to agree with him. That would be the holy grail, and maybe not the way we would all want it with the drop of a pill, but it would definitely be a monumental breakthrough.
Look, guys, and I say this every week, it's going to happen. It's going to happen, but don't wait for it to happen. Don't sit there and wait. Don't, there's young guys who, I have the time on Sunday sometimes to read the message forum. I was reading some stuff today. It's actually unbelievable how busy that forum is. It's crazy how many posts we're getting. But I'm reading the stories of these guys, and they're so desperate, and I understand it. But please, try to find ways to be happy and live your life without hinging all hope on a cure for your hair loss. It's really possible. There is life after hair loss. I know Joe from Staten Island doesn't believe that. But, look at a guy like Johnny. Johnny, you are a prime example. That is, as depressed as you are about your situation, you still live your life.
Not the way I want to live it, but I'm living it, Spencer. I mean, I guess you could say you have to be comfortable, like you always say, in your own skin. It's not where I want to be, but it's where I am, and I have to make the best of it. I mean, it's either that or stick my head in the sand like an ostrich and, let life pass me by. I don't do the things I want to do. I mean, but on the same token, I'm not, a hermit or, in a room where I'm not living my life. I have to.
You mean you're not Joe? You're not Joe from Staten Island?
No, I mean, I'm not. And, but again, I know what Joe's going through.
Sure.
I do know what he's going through. And if they ever do find a cure that can give Joe back his life, it's also going to not only help him, but he's got 2 children that it's really going to benefit from it.
Well, I'm, I know that. Joe knows that, but I don't know what's going to happen with Joe. I really
But
don't.
I mean, it's. I just hope that I hope it comes soon for not only for Joe, because I know he's it's a living hell that he's in, but his children, and it may help his relationship with Phyllis.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Well, I mean, you know what? Stranger things have happened.
Yeah, you're right about that. Johnny, look, I'm gonna take another call. Do you want to hold on, or?
I tell you what, it's breaking up, Spencer. Why don't you just? I'll hang up and give some of the other listeners an opportunity. I'll talk to you probably either Friday or next Sunday. Okay?
All right, man. Listen, take care. Thanks for calling.
You too.
All
Thank
right.
you. Bye.
Hey, you're on the air. Who's this?
Hey, Spencer. How's it going?
Rich, how are you, man? High pitch. What's going
Great.
on?
The Pats pulled it off, so I'm doing good.
What'd you say?
I said the Pats pulled it off, so I'm doing great tonight.
All right, man. So what else is happening?
What's that now?
What else is happening? I'm sorry, the phones are breaking up.
I said the Patriots pulled it off today, so it was a great day.
Yeah, no, that I heard. But my phones are breaking up. I'm apologizing because you may not be able to hear me.
Yeah, you're coming in pretty well broken up.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted to give a quick call in between all the football today. Say hi to all the guys and yourself. And anyway, what Johnny was talking about with George, I've already done that a few times, so we should definitely try it.
Oh, what? Go out and get some hookers?
I'm not going to be incriminated. You can figure that out for yourself.
Yeah.
You got to get out there and have a good time. Like you say, life is too short.
Life is. At least go to like one of these rub and a tug places, George.
What's that, Spencer?
You should at least go get like a rub and a tug at like one of these, these Korean massage places. That's safe.
I'm having a real bad time hearing you.
Oh man, I don't know what's going on. I can call out, but I can't. You guys can't call in. It's pretty screwed up. Hopefully by next week we'll figure it out. But all right, listen, I'll let you go, man.
All right, well, take care.
All right, thanks for the call.
Hey Spencer, you talking about the rub in the tub thing?
Yeah, rubbing a tub, not tub.
Yeah. I saw a hilarious little joke thing on the. It was Comedy Network. I don't know what the hell I saw it on, but it was, or maybe, actually it was an email. That's what it was. And it said something about, email was entitled, Happy Ending.
Yeah.
And it shows some guy going into one of these Oriental massage joints, and he's got this really hot chick who's.
Is that the one with all the balloons coming down?
Yeah.
I know that guy. His name is Greg Benson, and it's mediocre.
You know that guy?
Yeah, Mediocre Films. Yeah, he's been on the show, Greg. He actually had a transplant with Bauman.
It's something amazing that you know all these people. Here it is, just a random joke email I saw, and then you actually know the guy.
Oh yeah, man, his stuff goes viral.
How much of a star you are, man! How much of a star you are.
Yeah, star in my own mind, man. Star in my own mind.
Well,
it's sad that I can't take phone calls tonight because things are really screwed up. I don't know what it is. I can call out. You're hearing me perfectly clear, right?
You are perfectly clear. Do you want me to retain this phone number and with the Bald Truth numbers you give me the past, or do you want me to ditch it, or what?
No. It's the only number that you got. It's a good number. It's not the phone number. It's the phone line. It's a fact that when calls are coming in for whatever reason, when I'm on all cylinders here, it gets broken up. But I can call out and you can hear me perfectly clear. I don't know what that is. I would assume that if it was just a bandwidth problem, you guys, I couldn't even call out and hear you guys clearly, or vice versa. So I don't know what's happening. I'm gonna have to speak to somebody, but I will give out the phone number anyway. It's 888-659-3727. We have about 20 minutes left here at the Bald Truth for this broadcast. So feel free to call in. If for some reason it's breaking up, you can just get your question out there, and then you can, get off the air and you can listen to my answer online. You can watch the broadcast on a lot of different resources now. You can go to gfqlive.tv and join the chat and see me live, obviously. through the GFQ network. You can go to Justin TV, Stickam.com, Ustream. Audio is live on iTunes Radio, which is amazing. You can catch the archive on thebaldtruth.com, and also you can subscribe to iTunes. Subscribe to our iTunes feed at iTunes. I don't really promote that too much, and I know Andrew wants me to, so I'm going to start promoting it now, and we're going to be updating the site even more. If you go to our Watch Live page on thebaldtruth.com, you'll see the new chat room, and you'll see our new practically high-def video player, if that's what it's called, I'm an old guy, for lack of a better term. I guess it's a video player. I don't know. Maybe Andrew can tell me what it is. But it's pretty cool. It's much bigger than the one that we had before. It's a much higher resolution that's being fed into the GFQ network. I want to thank Suncast for putting that all together so that my listeners and my viewers have a better viewing experience on Sunday nights. And also everyone can now come into a common chat. They can still use the Stickam chat, which we're using, but they can come into a common chat on thebaldtruth.com. And, it's easy to sign up. And, all you guys who are listening and watching who have come through the message forum or through our other sites, just, feel free to join us, ask us questions. You could ask questions through the forum, and I'll try to answer, or through the chat, and I'll try to answer them as well. 888-659-3727. I'm going to pop Joe up and see if you can hear me. Joe, are you enjoying your experience with the chat? This is really your first experience.
I didn't get that, Spencer. You're breaking up.
All right. I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to take a break. Joe, you hold on. I'm going to get your number. Do not hang up until you give me your number, okay?
It won't be on the air, will it?
No, it won't be on the air. Hold on.
All right. Will
it be on the air? Jesus Christ. 888-659-3727. That's 888-659-3727. I'm Spencer Kobren. You are listening and watching The Bald Truth. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
The ringmaster of the hair loss circus.
I got this gray patch in the middle of my head and stuff, right? And that might be the first signs. I don't know. But, I'm not bald or, that's the least of my worries. But still, I kind of like your advocacy. I like your troubleshooting. I like the way that you put things, the truth.
Spencer David Kobren.
I always hear a lot of guys calling in, and they're always down and out about their haircuts.
Sure.
I lost my hair when I was 16 to 17 years old.
That's heavy.
Oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that.
No, it's all good, man. And the funny thing is that I've learned to overcome it, and I've had a much I'm much more empowered to be myself now.
Well, I admire that.
Oh no, it's cool, dude. Let me tell you, it took a long time.
I wanna scream, I wanna shout, I wanna know what it's all about.
Yeah, it really is amazing about all the bad transplants you do see out there. I mean, I was on the train the other day, and I saw 3 guys in one car,
yeah,
the subway. That it was horrible. It was a horror show. I mean, they didn't hear you, and that's a problem. That's why you have to guys get out there and get as mainstream as you can.
You got to pull yourself together, man. You got to get back on your feet again. How can I ever make you understand? You got the world right in your hand.
I went to Dr. Bernstein only because of you guys. God forbid I would have went to somebody else like Bosley. Bottom line, I'm begging anybody out there, before you go and get surgery, before you walk into these hair clubs system places, I'm telling you right now, I am $20,000 in the hole, and 10 years of stress, the last 3, an absolutely horrifying existence of stress and pain. And I can promise you, the stress of this hairpiece is 1,000 times more than I would have ever felt if I had just been confident with who I am, dealt with the fact that these are the cards I've been dealt, and deal with them, and just shave my head. And honestly, like Spencer said, not everyone's there, but that's where I'm at.
There's a very zen quality about this show. You have how some people listen to the sounds of the seashore, other people listen to the Weather Channel. There's a very zen quality about this show.
Hey guys, welcome back. 888-659-3727 is the toll-free number. Look, I don't know what to tell you about the phones. I'm able to call out. Excuse me. Seems to be pretty crystal clear when I call out. You guys call in, it's all effed up. Some weeks it works perfectly. So we'll figure it out. Eventually, this studio will be perfect. 888-659-3727 is the toll-free number. Let's see if Joe can hear me. Joe, can you hear me now?
Yes, Burns. I hate to tell you, it's a little bit better, but you're still breaking up, man.
Well, I'm glad that it's a little better.
Slightly better. You're still breaking up, though.
Well, I don't know what to tell you then. Well, then, actually, I feel better that it's breaking up a little bit, so it's not just some phenomenon where you're calling in. That gives me a little bit more hope that it is just a bandwidth issue. So that's good. Right.
I lost you for 5 seconds. I didn't hear a word you said.
Rye Guy Meyer says studio will be perfect in 3 to 5 years. That's so funny. That's a little inside hair loss joke there.
Oh. But I'm really fascinated. I can't believe all this stuff is on this site. The things they're saying, it's really enlightening me about how serious this problem really is.
Now, how is it enlightening you on about how serious this problem really is when all you talk about is how serious this problem is?
That's very true. But I mean, just seeing it and communicating with other hair loss sufferers has actually made me a little bit happy tonight.
Did you see the huge bump on my eye, Joe? Can you see the size of this thing? It's unbelievable. I have to get it taken. I have to get it excised next week.
You have to get what?
I have to get an operation on my eyelid.
Why?
Because I have a huge, it's called a chalazion, which is like a sty that does not go away. That's
what eye is that in, man? Your right or your left eye?
My right eye.
Oh, I'm trying to dissect it on the air. I can't see it.
There it is. Look at the size of that thing.
Vince, get me a magnifying glass, please. Do we have one?
Anyway, I'm at a restaurant yesterday. I actually went to see the eye doctor on a Saturday. I went to get another opinion. I like the second guy a lot better. And I'm ordering my food. I went to one of my favorite places, The Counter, which is a great hamburger place. And I went to the one in Century City. And, waitress is standing above me. She's a young girl, maybe she's 20, 21 years old. She could not stop staring at my eye. It was so, I had to like break the ice and tell her, listen, it is what it is. I understand why you can't stop staring at it. And she felt very embarrassed. I laughed it off. I told her not to worry about it.
Well, I just hope that the doctor didn't touch your hair when he or she was examining your eye.
No, it's funny because the first guy that I went to, I was a little flinchy because he was kind of moving the sculpture a little bit. And I had to explain to him that, please don't mess up my hair. There's a lot of hairspray in it. And he did look at me like I was strange. Well, but the other guy was a lot more. The other guy was a lot more delicate.
You should have worn a hat or a beret or some type of surgical bandage to the doctor, and he wouldn't be able to touch your hair. That's what I usually do.
I don't mind if they touch it. It's just that I have to go. If I don't have a hat on, if it gets messed up, there's so much hairspray in it. It'll stick up like the guy from A Flock of Seagulls. So if I'm going somewhere and I don't have a hat and someone messes with my hair, like a dentist office, whatever it is, I have to be zen with the idea of walking around with a messed up head of hair, because whichever way they push it, that's the way it's staying. My hair hasn't moved on its own, freely since 1987. That's the life that I live.
Well, I wish I had that problem, man. To be honest with you.
And I know, and that's why I think. Look at the side. No one will be looking at your hair. That's very funny.
I mean, look at you now. You're beautiful, man.
Well, thank you, Joe. It always makes me feel a little uncomfortable, though. I'll have to tell you the truth. I mean, a guy saying that to me, but I appreciate that.
No, you really are beautiful. You really are.
Oh my God.
No, you're physically you're a beautiful person. That's what I mean.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, the way you really are the greatest. But I'm really fascinated by this phenomenon of chat. It's really actually making me a little happy.
Well, you know what? It's a good thing for you to participate in, Joe. People want to hear from you, my man, you know?
It's very laborious. I can't keep up with it. I need a secretarial staff to keep up with this.
Well, you keep up with it. I'm going to put you on hold for a second. All right? Hold on. Hey, George, you there?
Yeah, I am. I was asking you earlier if you needed to dump me to get so Joe could have a clear line.
No. Joe's fine. And I think part of it is, who knows what it is. Your line is clear. That's fine. You know,
my line is crystal clear. And hey, before you end the show, I want to take an opportunity. It's the first time I've been on since the new year started. I was going to ask you about your dad, but Johnny already did, and I'm glad to hear that you're looking at bringing him out, to L.A. But I wanted to take an opportunity to say thank you so much to your support staff, to Andrew Zarian and Suncast. You know, these guys that are working so hard to help you with this thing. They do a fabulous job, and I know it's a sacrifice of a lot of time and energy and stuff for them. So we just appreciate them.
Well, we definitely appreciate them, and I finally have gotten to the point where we have a really high end. You know, I mean, the quality of the video is second to none. It's definitely come a long way from when we first started to air the webcast. So I definitely have to thank Andrew Zarian for that, and GFQ Network, and of course Suncast for all the hard work he puts into everything. And this is the way the ball juice is supposed to look. You know, I was on the radio for so long that I used to just throw a webcam in here, especially originally when I was in Westwood One. We had the cheapest webcam. I remember this guy, my producer at the time, got us the webcam, and the shot was so grainy. I remember we used to be, Stickam used to feature the show because I guess we were coming out of Westwood One or whatever. And I look at those old broadcasts, and it's so hard to believe, but that's what webcasting was. That's what internet broadcasting was, and that wasn't too long ago. That was like 2007. It's come such a long way.
How far it's come. You know, it's come so far so fast. Hey, you see that great comment from Suncast? All I ask for is a Russian mail order bride. Hey, Suncast, you know, I'm with you, brother. These Russian chicks are out, but they ain't all they're cracked up to be. So just. How about this Italian boat captain and his hot Russian chick who's trying to cover for his huge screw-up? He was apparently, he's married, but he was having dinner with his chick, and they were, like, throwing down bottles of booze and shit.
Yeah.
Half an hour before the fucking boat crashed.
Well, I mean
and now she's trying to cover for him when he jumped off into a friggin' lifeboat. Did you hear that?
No, he didn't jump. He didn't jump. He actually said that he fell into the lifeboat.
Yeah,
he tripped.
He tripped and fell in. But he hauled ass away from the ship, and the Italian Coast Guard guy busted his balls and threatened him and said, "You get your ass back on the boat, or things are going to be really bad for you."
Yeah.
And then they got this Russian chick trying to cover for him. It was really. I mean, it hadn't been so many people dying, it would have been funny.
Well, absolutely. And that's the thing. You know, how can something like this happen in this day and age with the type of technology? I mean, we're not talking about the Titanic here. You know, we're talking about
it's really weird. It's been
2012.
Yeah, it's 100 years since the Titanic, but they didn't have friggin' radar and sonar.
But they do.
Come on.
But they do have it. That's the thing. It is on the ship.
They didn't have it. They didn't have it. I said they didn't have it with the Titanic.
Oh yeah.
And now 100 years later, we got radar and sonar. You know damn well they can see under the water. And but it just blows my mind to see that. How much that ship cost? You know, $1 billion? I mean, 500 million? What? Some ungodly amount of money. The damn thing is brand new, and there it is.
Who knows, man? This
completely screwed. This guy is really stick a fork in him. He's done.
Oh, he is done. I mean, Geraldo really. I mean, I love Geraldo. He's such a funny guy. I mean, he's such a. I don't know. He has a certain demeanor that it's just so over the top. It's almost comical, but he's a real journalist.
Oh, it is.
You know?
It is. But the guy has always tried to hold himself out there as being some kind of a badass.
Yeah, that's true.
And you know, when they was sleeping in the nude, getting in a fight, and getting his face busted with a chair, and then when they opened up Al Capone's vault, remember about 30 years ago, and then
I saw that. I saw that live, man. I was really excited.
I saw that live. It was such a build up to nothing. I was watching it live. And then Geraldo goes in the crack alley, and he's like, you know, goes in there with all the crack guys. I mean, not crack, but you know, what were those guys shooting up? They were shooting up some kind of shit. I guess it was
heroin, methamphetamine.
Yeah, they were shooting up stuff, and and I remember some bum acting like he was going to stick her all over the needle. He's like, "If you fucking touch me, that guy will kill you. I'll kill you." Like he was some kind of a badass or something. The guy to me is he's just an asshole.
Well,
I've never
look,
liked
whatever it is, the guy's had an incredibly successful career. He has banged cocktail waitresses 2 at a time, allegedly. His wife is like 30 years younger than he is. He's got the most incredible head of hair that I've ever seen on anybody, let alone a guy who's like almost 70. I mean, that guy is like in his mid-60s.
Yeah,
and
he's
his
just a little
kids
twitch in
go to my
self-aggrandizement thing.
kids go to my alma mater, my high school. But whatever it is, that guy's his hair is like, it's presidential. So whatever it is, you got to give it to him for creating this incredible life for himself. And he's still on the air.
Well, he's really good at self-aggrandizement. He always has been, but I just really have problems with his. I don't know about his journalistic integrity, but after the Al Capone thing, the vault thing, it was always never the same for me after that. There was such a build up to nothing.
Yeah, but that was the thing, they were opening the vault live on the air. Whatever was in it was in it, and that was what was so exciting about it, because we had no idea, and we were kids, and watching this, and he ended up opening it up, and it was like some old like two like bottles, empty bottles.
Yeah, I was just hoping I was going to see gangster skeletons and treasure and shit in there. I was all excited, and it was just such bullshit.
Yeah,
it was nothing like but a bunch of dirt and a couple of old bottles. But anyway, I just want to say
but isn't
thank
that
you
life?
To
That's what life is. Life is bullshit. Life is just a little dirt and a couple of old bottles. Everything that we're that we're taught to believe is bullshit. Anyway, I thought it was definitely interesting and funny, and I got to give Geraldo's props. I mean, he's definitely a character, man. This guy's over the top. The way he signs off the air when he kisses his 2 fingers, and God blesses everybody, and the guy's hilarious with that crazy mustache. That mustache has a life of its own.
He's got a bad case. He thinks he's a hot Latin lover guy. And he made a point on his talk show kind of talking about how he slept in the nude and all this shit. I'm like, who cares?
He actually had a plastic surgery on the air years ago. He got his eyes done on the air. And he's definitely, sensationalizes a lot of stuff. He had that talk show. But, it is what it is.
Hey, this thing with your eye, is that a clogged meibomian gland? Did they tell you what it was?
That's exactly what it is. That's what a chalazion is.
Dude, I had one of those things about 8 years ago, and it's 7 years ago, and it drove me friggin' nuts. I'd never had one in my life. And what you said about people staring at you, I'd always had these chicks tell me, "Oh, you have such pretty eyes," and then all of a sudden, what's wrong with your eye?
Yeah.
It's like people, and I went to this an Oriental restaurant, and there was some chick that worked there. She's like, "Oh, what's wrong with your eye?" And
I don't even know how to. I don't even know how to react to the fact that you just said Oriental. I don't know. I don't know how to react to that. But anyway, it's very fun. I'm sure the chat room's going to get a big kick out of that too.
Yeah, well, they always are looking for something.
But look, I gotta go. It's 2 minutes after the hour. George, it was wonderful having you back on. I'm so glad you called. It's great to hear you. Happy New Year. And again, I keep, saying that the phones are going to be fixed. I don't know when that's going to happen. I hope that it can happen. I'm living in a home here that has limited access to any type of high bandwidth cable, which sucks. I live on a ridge overlooking a valley. And I don't even get cell phone access here. I have to have an M-cell booster to actually get, cell service here. Probably not a good move to build your, to get a house so far out here where you can't get great internet service. But we'll work it out. George, listen, thanks a lot. Let me pot up Joe to say goodnight. You guys can say goodnight to each other. Joe, man, thanks a lot for calling in as usual.
Spencer, a lot of people in the chat room are requesting that I sing a song.
All right, go ahead.
God bless Spencer Kobren. He's the greatest man in the world. Stand beside him and guide him. And please help us all. Hail our sufferers.
Oh,
I'm sorry, man. I'm breaking down. Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Joe, Have a great night. Johnny called in. So Johnny, thanks a lot. And Rich, who called in, High Pitch, thanks so much. Hopefully we can get things working 100% next week, but we'll see. No guarantees. The website's thebaldtruth.com. You check out archives of the program. You can also check out, if you want to see archives of the show, go to GFQ, guysfromqueens.com. And, of course, iTunes. You can subscribe to us on iTunes. And let me give out some more websites. Let's see. If you're a woman dealing with hair loss, please check out womenshairlossproject.com, the largest and honestly the best women's hair loss community on the planet. It's an amazing place where women really take the time to support each other. That's womenshairlossproject.com. And if you want to join our message forum, if you're a guy or a woman dealing with hair loss, you want to vent, you want to speak to other people dealing with the same situation, check out baldtruthtalk.com. Join the community and share your experiences with others. That's baldtruthtalk.com. Until next time, be strong and God bless. And thank you so much for tuning in.
I'd like to thank all of my guests today. They did a swell job in showing us how easy it is so that we can really do it. If I can do it, they can do it, you can do it. Bye-bye for now.